Right, so we're just going to talk through the Zephyrus and how to put 2 nickel coils in it. The theory behind the coils is pretty much the same whether you're using titanium, nickel, stainless or canthal. Points to note out, it's a tight build. You need to make sure when your coils are in that they're not touching the chimney, which is this part. The parts you get with the Zephyrus are a drip tip, a heatsink, the bottom airflow ring, top cap, a bung, a stock coil, beefy stock coil. We tested these on 40 watts for a month and it was about 3.5 weeks before we started tasting anything burnt, so as a stock coil goes, that's not bad going. The top of the tank where you put your juice in, on the bung, 2 O-rings, 1 glass, and here is 2 nickel pre-made coils which I'm now going to put in the Zephyrus. So I've screwed it onto my deck, onto my ohms reader or your box, whatever you prefer, just so it gives you a base to work off really. And I'm just going to open up all the holes. Now the 2 in the middle are your positive and the 2 on the sides are your negative, so the way you want the coils to go is 1 in here which runs to this one, and then on the other side you would have 1 from the positive run to this one. Right, so first coil in, now you don't want to tighten it up too much, just loosely enough so when you heat it and put it in its final position you can then nip it, because nickel's very thin and flimsy, so you want it roughly above the air hole. Like I say, just nip it in for now, that'll do. And then you want to get a little blue screwdriver or anything that's the diameter of the coils you're putting in. These coils are 2.5mm, 15 wraps. The finished output is about 0.06 ohms. Now if you look here, can you see that leg's wobbling? So he could do with a little bit more, and when I say a little bit more I mean quarter of a turn. You just want to position that above the air hole, clear of the deck, which is the base, and clear of the posts. So roughly where I want them. Now tighten it up again and again, and then do the same. Straighten it out. So that's cool. So now you want to get rid of these legs. You can use a pair of snips, a good pair of snips. These aren't ideal, just to get in there and cut them with canthal, but for nickel you don't need to, because it's that soft you can just grab it and bend it. Now you see how the spring's moving, well the coil's moving, that tells me that my leg's not tight, the screw is not tight enough. So just tighten it a bit more. Now when I move it, yeah, straight off, and you're getting a perfect cut there. And then the next one, so get rid of them. So that's one coil in. Now for the next, the second coil. So you want the top leg of your coil. That one's just a bit bent, so I'm just going to straighten that out. And I'm going to bend the leg that I'm putting into the top post up a touch, and you'll see why. So if I put him in the bottom and then just feed that in, because I've bent it, it's going to pop up nicely above the other coil. So he's in. If you set this up right and you run it on about 410 on a temp controlled box, about 40-50 watts if you're running something like a Joytech that has the option. You're going to get at least 3 weeks, at least, if you do it right. So I'm just nipping them up, but not too tight because I don't want to snap it. And I think that just did. Bend one off. There's one. And number two. I'm just going to roughly position this. I might have to put a new coil in. I think I over tightened it there. No, that looks good. And just bend him off like so. So, 2 coils in. Now, things to look for are A, is it touching the deck? If it is, it won't give a clear, true reading. So if you can get, yeah, that's good. And look down the side, is it touching the posts? No, it's not. And another point, if you are using canthil and you're trimming it with pliers, make sure that the positive leg is not touching the spring on the other side. And what I mean by that is, say with the nickel I've cut it flush with the block because it bent and snapped, however the canthil might be protruding out here, so keep an eye for that. Right, so that's reading 15.7. So there's something not right there. If I pull them out a bit, I think the battery's dying on this. Right, let's see what the box says. One off and one on. So I've got this set up for dual coil, maximum coefficiency, which is 800. I'll just run through that setup quickly. So before I've put the box on, just give that a little wipe. Right, 1, 2, 3. Mode, temp mode, max. You can have it on normal. I just like a hard hitting vape. Nickel, yeah, that's the coefficiency, 800. Dual coil, and it's ready. So check atomizer, screw it down, and it'll say new coil, yes. So you just want a couple of hot spots straight away there. Crank this up to 600 Fahrenheit, and you want to go for the part that heats up the quickest. And compress. So this is reading 0.07 ohms. That's good. And this one, and compress. And just do it. And that's cool. So now, before you put your cotton in, it's good to put the chimney on and check that you've got enough clearance either side. So, screw that on. Does it work? Yeah, it still fires. Take your chimney off gently. Remove it from the box. Careful not to drop it. Put it back onto a mount. Could have left it on the box. I just take it off because get a better view. So, ready for cotton. 2 strips of cotton are required. You want to cut roughly, well, depends on the diameter of the coil you put in, but roughly 4mm, 5mm. You can always strip a bit off if it's too thick. I think that is going to be too thick. So I'm going to peel one layer of the cotton off, roll it round, take a bit of the excess fluff off, put that through, and you should have a little bit of resistance but not a lot. If it starts pulling your coil when you're trying to pull it through, pull it back and take some off, because it's going to basically, if you put the cotton in and it's too tight, it's going to not soak up enough juice and you end up with dry hits, or if you're using canthal, burnt hits. If it just flies through, it'll end up gargling, like flooding the tank. So I need to now trim, just cut it roughly there for now, and then you want to put the other side in. So cut another strip, oh that was handy, took a bit off with the scissors. Fold one edge of the cotton, thread it through the coil, and chop, chop. So that's roughly cotton in. Now if you look at the tank, there's a few different ways that people do this online, but I've been sticking with what works for me, and this is how it is. This recess here is where I cut my cotton to, so I put my shears or scissors on there, cut, and just work my way around it, cut, cut, same again, 1, 2, 3. Now the cotton here, I just trim a bit off up the way, just that sort of amount there, and believe it or not, this little bit I found made a difference, just taking this little bit off, and this little bit here, and this little bit here. Now I'm going to look at my cotton, and you just want it just touching the juice channels, so it's just in there. He's just in there. That could do with a little trim. And last but not least, he's just in there. So we're cool. Totally flat that. So now you want to prime it up with some juice. Let's stick some Supersonic on it. This is an AEVG mix from Viperoo, Supersonic from Cobra Cloud. I think they're $9.99 for 30ml, and it is really good juice. So you want to prime the coils, and the reason you do this is so that you give it a head start. I've never actually tried just putting dry cotton in and letting it soak in. But yeah, you just prime it up, drench it, and you're better off putting too much on, if anything, rather than too less. The tank together, and then top it up with juice. Now this one's going in the mail to a customer who asked me to set it up for him. So I'm just going to put a little bit of strawberry Supersonic in there, just to see him on his way. 1, 2, that should do. Fill it up. You can fill it right to the top. I noticed with the Zephyrus as well, when you change flavours, it's pretty much instant. You can taste the second flavour straight away. Make sure you put the top cap, sorry, not the top cap, the rubber bung in, and then the top cap. Drip tip. And you want to give it a right good wipe. Now, we over primed this quite a lot, so to get rid of it, before you put the final part on, which is your airflow ring, you want to get some tissue, like I have, covering the air holes, and breathe down it, so that you blow any excess juice out the bottom. Like so. Things with the Zephyrus to note are, if it is leaking, your cotton's not right, and if you're getting dry hits, your cotton's too tight. So if it's leaking, if you set it up and it's leaking, whatever you did do, try it again with a bit more cotton. If you're getting dry hits, try less bit cotton, and you will find the sweet spot. So that's the Zephyrus fully built. Airflow ring on. There's a little groove in there which sits on this rubber O-ring, which is just the resistance when you turn it. I like it on max chat. Here can be handy as a backup, so you could have that in your wallet, and if you do get a disaster, you could fire that in and make sure you give it 5 minutes to soak in. You can prime it up, but if you do put it in dry, give it a good 5 to 10 minutes upright. Right, let's take it for a little vape and see how it does. So, screwed it on, and straight away. Fantastic. So now, touch wood, all you have to do with this tank for the next 3 weeks, or give or take till you need to change your cotton, is undo this rubber bung, fill it up with juice, put it back together, and that's it. If you've never had a tank like this as well, I would recommend every sort of time you do fill it, just give it a clean in there, and maybe just give your drip tip a rinse under the tap, and that's it. Yeah, no more to add. These coils are fantastic. I do prefer the rebuildables, but they're not bad. They do get you to have a decent tank without having to do the setup as that. However, the running costs are virtually free for what the rebuildable. These, I believe, are around £10 for 4, which is not a bad price when they do last 3 to 4 weeks. So if you've got any questions, just email, Twitter, Facebook, or give us a ring. Thank you very much.